Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Chess Minds, and today we are going to look at two positions in which one we're going in these positions we're going to see how to win and how to draw from both white and black sides in king plus pawn versus king position. So we have two positions here. We are going to look at both, and this is our first position in which we are going to see tips for pawn players and how to win this position with white. And in the next position we are going to see tips for king players and how to draw that position with black. So let's start this position. So in this position, let's discuss the tips for pawn players first. So first tip is move your king to the key square. Now what is a key square, you would be thinking. So I'll tell you what is a key square. So the key square is two squares ahead of our pawn. So this d5 is our key square, so we have to control or move on the key square. So this is our first tip. The second tip is move your king to the sixth rank before the pawn. So we're going to move our king to sixth rank before our pawn. The next tip is move your pawn to the seventh rank without any unnecessary checks. So we are going to move a pawn to the seventh rank without any unnecessary checks. So these are the tips for pawn players to win, and I have a suggestion for you guys. That my suggestion is that maneuver your king from the opposite side of the opponent's king. Okay, we're going to maneuver our king from the opposite side of the opponent's king. Like if the kings move from this side, we're going to move from that side or that side. Where king moves from this side, we're going to move from the opposite side, this side or this side. So we're just gonna look now. Let's dive into the position and let's see how to win this position. The first tip was that move on the key square. So key square is d5 as we know. So we're going to play king d3, trying to take control over the d5. Now black knows the idea, so black is also gonna try to take the control over d5. We have took the control over d5 before the black's king. The black's king also takes the control on d5 and also opposition. So we don't want the opponent's king to take opposition. So we'll play here d3, which will break opponent's opposition. So here, wherever the black kings move, we're always gonna take opposition. Like if it moves here, we're gonna play here, or even a better option following my suggestion is that we can also maneuver our king from the opposite side of the opponent's king. So here this is also totally winning for us, and this is how it will be done. Now wherever the king moves, like here the king moves, now here in this position we can't move d5 up onto d5 because the king will take the pawn. So we're going to take opposition once again. Now king will try to take opposition here, and then in this position do not blunder d6, because that will be a blunder and a draw, a total draw. Because if we play d6, king is gonna take opposition, and that's a dead draw. So we are not gonna play d6, we are going to play king d6, taking the opposition, and now maneuver our king from the opposite side of the king. And here we have a passer, and here the queen, and here this is how to handle this position and following the tips. So now we are going to dive into the next position, in which we are going to see tips for black players or the king players. So here in this position we are going to play from the black or from the king players. So the first tip for king players is always try to take opposition. So in this position we'll always try to take opposition. Second tip is if the opponents and the opponent's king and the pawn are on the same rank and we take opposition in that position, it will be a draw. It will always be a draw. So like here we can see that the king and a pawn are on the same rank, and if we take opposition in this case somehow it will be a draw. So you'll always try to keep the king and the pawn on the same rank and try to take opposition. So on the next third tip is always move your king in front of the pawn. So that is a common tip. So let's dive into this position. So in this position it is white to play. So the white will try to take control over d5, which is the key square for the pawn as it was before. So here the king will play king d3, but we don't want white to take control over d5, so we'll be on the d5, which will stop the opponent's king to take control over d5. Now the king moves anywhere, we are going to take opposition. Now here, if the king moves once again, it will be a draw, so we don't want. Now what if the pawn moves d3? What will we do now? We are just gonna play simply this, and whatever the opponent plays, it is just a draw. Like in here, this case, it will not be a draw, it will be losing for us. So we're not gonna move to c4, we're gonna move here. King will move in front of us, and then it is also a draw. And it will just follow the pattern, and it will always be a draw. We'll always take opposition. After this, it will be a stalemate, a draw. So we want that it is a stalemate. So we have seen what happens with king d3. So now next option is, what if opponent plays pawn d3? We're going to play king d5 always, and then wherever the king is, we're going to take position. Take a position. Okay. So d3 is also not working. We're going to see now d4. Now d4 is not a good move because, as you know, the tips for white player was controlling the key square. Now when the pawn moved to d4, the key square has become d7, and it will be almost impossible for white to control over that square because we are standing just ahead of it. So we are gonna play simple move, king d5, king d. Now if you move here, this is also a draw because like white will take opposition, but now white cannot. So like we can play, but do not risk this. Okay, so we are just gonna do this simple. We're just gonna take opposition, and that's a draw. I showed you, but I still show you because to clear your guys doubts. And if you have any doubts, please tell me in the comments. And once again, I still mute. So now I hope you guys understood the tips for white and black players both, and hope you guys enjoy the video. Bye guys, see you in the next video. Please do not forget to like, share and subscribe, and hit the bell icon for this video, and also comment your doubts. Thank you for watching.